It is a beautiful California day, and we're out here on Case Mountain using the Bolinas Ridge. Today it's actually especially hot. When I got in my car, it was actually 99 degrees, and yesterday it was 115. So we're probably going to try to cut it short today because I don't know how hot it's going to get. I only brought 2 bottles of water. So I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of the bike and some of the stuff that I've done today. So just a quick catch up. This is the Bolinas Ridge 1. This is the 2019 model. Upgraded with a bunch of stuff such as the Advent X drivetrain, which is doing phenomenally well today compared to the GX that we had before. The GX was only a 36 tooth. This is a 50 tooth. It's actually a lot better and a lot more capable. The tires, Michelin All Force KS E10 dropper post. We've got the RockShox Recon Silver on the front, and we have Shimano MT500 disc brakes front and rear. So I know, like, this is actually kind of a gray area for a lot of people because this bike brand new cost $440 right now. I think it's running for about 500 and something thanks to inflation and all that stuff, especially due to the COVID limitations of buying a bike. Just to address some concerns I've heard is like people arguing that it's not worth spending money on a $400 bike, and for the most part, honestly, I kind of agree with them. It really isn't. If you have enough money to get a better bike, get the best bike you can. But my only argument with this is a bike that someone already owned and they wanted to put money into it, because honestly, it's not that much more money that they put into this bike as opposed to getting a new bike. Actually, altogether, they probably could have gotten something really good like a Marin San Quentin 1 or 2. But here's my argument here. If this is something you already have and you want to upgrade, that's fine. If you want to throw in thousands of dollars, that's where I kind of draw the line. Like, just whatever you put into a bike, just make sure that you're getting the maximum value for this. And because this is a bike that someone's going to own for years, I don't see anything wrong with that. Anyways, let's get to today's ride. Okay, so this is probably as high up as we're going to go. We're at about 1,500 feet elevation. This area is pretty good because it's known for a lot of cooling winds that come through these mountains. So we got that helping us out. Other than that, it was about 99 degrees when I left the car, like I said. If we wait any longer, it could get even hotter. Yesterday, the highs were 115. It's a dry heat, so it's very unpleasant. Luckily, this area has a lot of cool, humid air, so we kind of have that helping us out here. We're just going to do a couple of laps today and then call it a day because, like I said, I'm not trying to play around with this heat. It's not kidding around, and we shouldn't pretend like it's our friend or anything. So let's just drop in. So I'm only going to do a couple of laps of this bike. I'm only using it to test out the new drivetrain and the brakes themselves too. They haven't gotten a whole lot of use, but we can't change that today. Other than that, we don't have a lot to talk about today. I've been doing really good with my goals lately, trying to lose weight. Oh, there's a lot of disc brake rubbing. Been doing really good lately. Been losing some weight, so pants are fitting better, shirts are looking nicer. So we got that going for us. Some things, I don't really like using this bike too much because it's not my bike, so nothing's tuned for me, and I don't really like to change the settings that often. So it's probably gonna be the last time we use this bike for a good long while. I'm gonna keep focusing on the Hawk Hill because that's my bike. That's my best bike here, and that's the only bike that I have any real intentions of upgrading at this point, up until I get a new bike next year. Other than that, not really focused much on anything else except for schoolwork and whatnots. Schoolwork, jobs, stuff like that. Kind of focusing on getting everything I can done while I still have time and energy. Ooh, almost fell on that one. And yeah, one thing, this seat is not set up for me. I'm about 5'10", the owner's about 5'7", so I can't get the full range of motion that I want with this bike that I could in my other bikes. Yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah, man, this heat's been really intense lately. If you're not used to this, like I'm not, this can really kick your butt. This dry heat is something else. I'm more of a fan of the humid heat, even though, you know, that's not much better. One of the reasons why we're going to cut it short too is because all the horse invaded my normal rest area, and horses are friendly and whatnot, but I'm not a horse guy, so I don't know much about horses. I know they bite, that's about it. But other than that, I don't know much else. Let's see, what else can we talk about today? I don't want to keep it focused on the heat. The heat's always going to be there. see if we can't do some laps down here. I'm gonna give it a cut, real quick cut, jump cut. So one thing too is you can kind of adjust how far that bell dangles. So the farther down it goes, the more it'll ring. And it's making too much noise for my liking, so let's bring it up a little. Nope, that's pretty much where it's gonna be. So, sorry it's annoying. It's not really a whole lot I can do right now. Like I said, I don't really want to surprise these horses. Whoop, rock section. Let's see. Talked a lot about goals last time. That's always a good thing to have goals. It keeps you focused too. As long as you have goals, you can set a pace. You don't have to set a pace to achieve your goals right away. Honestly, that's one thing you got to remind yourself sometimes. Goals can't take years, they can take months, weeks. Don't ever get discouraged just because you haven't achieved your goal. Just keep in mind that it's all about slow progresses, you know? You're gonna make steps where you take steps forward, you take steps backwards, but you know, as long as you're doing what you think you can, what you think is right. I don't think I've ever been down this way. And this lake's pretty green here. All that moss and whatnot. Up there are the horses. I don't know if you can see them yet, but they're right a lot of them today. They all heard the bell. Cool. So we're not gonna surprise them. They're all kind of looking at me, and I'm gonna be going the other way. Turn this bell on since they see me, or off. Yeah, we're gonna call it today. It's getting too hot. It's gonna be plus 100 degrees today, and one thing you want to do is you don't want to call the sun's heat bluff on anything. It's been over 100 degrees almost all week. I'm not trying to get stuck here. My cell phone doesn't get any service around this area. I'm not trying to get stuck here until the sun makes me drink all my water, and then I gotta wait for sunset. Sunset's not gonna be for another 8 hours, and that's just a bad day for mostly me, honestly. And I should not be taking that chance. That is a big, big gamble. One I don't want to be taking. So, word of advice: bring enough water you think it's gonna last you. If you think you're running low on water, know when to call it quits. You know, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna call it quits before I run out of water. And this heat's not something to joke around about. This heat wave has been intense. At work, somebody actually collapsed. They made him run during the heat to catch up to a jet that was taxiing somewhere, and as soon as they got there, they did what they were supposed to do, but bam, they just fell. And that's not something I'm trying to do here, because I'm by myself here. If I was riding with somebody, I'd be less inclined to turn back, because then you got somebody to watch your back, but it's not a big deal. I only came out here to try out the new Drivetrain, and it's a big difference than the GX was, honestly. This feels a lot like the 12-speed I have in the Hawk Hill, which was the Shimano, I think SLX, with a GX drivetrain for reasons that were my own negligence, honestly. But that's what it is. And it feels a lot like that, honestly, the highest gear. This is a 10 to 50, and that's, or 11 to 50, and the other one's a 10 to 50. Either way, that feels great. I'm sure the owner's gonna like this better than what they had before. Just make the best decisions for yourselves, honestly. Like, know your limitations, know when to call it quits, know things you can and can't do. Like today, I could climb, but I could climb a lot higher my usual spot where the waterfall usually is, although there probably ain't gonna be one today. But yeah, just know when to call it quits before it's too late. You know, don't try not to suffer any injuries, no heat related injuries too, especially around an area like this where people don't usually frequent during this type of weather. Man, don't risk it, man. Like, try to stay safe. Try to keep in mind that you got friends and family waiting for you back home, and if something happened to you, there's no telling what they would go through. So just a word of advice, honestly, take it or don't. We're gonna cut it here because I'm already back to the car. I did about 1 or 2 laps, and you know what, that's perfectly fine for me. This is too hot a day, too hot a ride. I'm not gonna risk it. I don't have the water for it, and I don't have the food either. Usually bring a snack or something. But hey, thanks for watching. Have a great day. That's a pretty sight. See you guys later. I'm gonna go.